Today we're looking at a pocket knife that might be perfect for you if you're looking to overthrow the Ottoman Empire during World War I. Yeah, that's right, folks. We're looking at the Ruike P155-W. Just look at that Persian influence there. Love that blade shape. That's what really connected me to the knife. And this might be a great pocket knife if you're just digging Lawrence of Arabia. You're sitting there and you're contemplating whether or not you're going to jump into World War I and you're going to have to throw over the evil Ottoman Empire. This might be the perfect pocket knife for that. It's going to fit right in with your Persian style Bedouin belt knife, you know, and you want to just kind of downsize that a little bit, carry it around town on a daily basis, yeah, have a good time while you watch Lawrence of Arabia busting this little guy out. So guys, I'm looking forward to breaking this knife down for you today, because Ruike has really been in the past impressing me with their fit and finish, their design, and the materials that you're getting for the price point, which is really sweet. You're getting 14C, Sandvik 14C 28N. We're getting a lot of G10 and liner lock and just really cool fit and finish and design. We've been very impressed with several of their other knives in the past, and you know, their partnership with Phoenix Flashlights gives them that really good backing, and they've really been, you know, creating a good name for themselves in the market, in my opinion, over the last few years, producing great knives at great values. All right, so here we are at the tabletop. I'm gonna start kind of crazy and start with the pocket clip. Kind of a cool design there. Very nice, very functional. It has plenty of flex and just enough of a lip to catch. I'm gonna ride in most of my pockets very nicely. Not quite as much of a gap here that I would like compared to some knives out there. You can just see that. Here's the Ruike, what is this, the P810. It has a little bit more of a gap there, so if you have really thick reinforced pockets, that might be something to kind of consider there. Cool little pivot there with a smaller lanyard hole. You would probably have to gut out 550 paracord if you're going to want to run paracord through there. So that's something to consider. It is righty only. It is not ambidextrous, so this is a right-handed only knife. So if you are a lefty and you want to carry this knife, you can check out now. This knife is not for you. So would have liked to see ambidextrous capability on this, but according to what I'm seeing here, and I'm not seeing any tool that could remove this, this guy is screwed in there and there's no coming out and you can't swap it. So righties only, need watch further in this video. That'll bring us right into the handle. Now these are G10 handle scales. You can get tan or black. Obviously this is the tan version right now, and a cool, you know, aesthetics there. Nice sweeping motion. You are going to be looking at 4.875 inches overall length, and you're looking at 0.59 on the thickness. So this is definitely a tank. This is a beefy pocket knife. It's going to come in at 5.1 ounces, so that's definitely on the heavy side, on the beefy side of folders. So you know, if you like those kind of heavier, denser knives, great. This is going to totally connect with you. If you like slim, you know, like smooth, slim folders that are sleek and lightweight, this is probably not going to be quite the folder for you. Now, it didn't create any hot spots, but the transitions, even though the design is very cool, I love it. The angles are not quite as machined as I would have liked up here. They are a little sharp on the G10 versus, you know, just getting hit a little bit more with a little bit more rounding. Now, again, when I was gripping it, I didn't feel any sharp, like, oh, this is cutting into me, but it's just a little detail that I noticed that I don't always see. A lot of other G10 models will have a little bit more rounding than on this. This is a Civivi G10 knife. You can see there that the angles are just a little more rounded at the top. This one just seems to be a little bit more abrupt, but again, didn't cause any hot spots with that. I have large size gloves, as you guys know. That's what I wear. Plenty of real estate. So if you got big hands and you're a righty, I mean, this is going to fit great. Nice deep cut in with that flipper there. Good big thumb ramp right there. No jimping. But that's really going to lock you into place again for stabbing or harder cutting tasks. If you swap the knife into a reverse grip, it's going to feel very, very natural in a reverse grip. Feels really good, almost like a karambit, but even though it doesn't feel like a karambit when you're holding it in a natural grip. Now, another thing to kind of note and consider here is that this ricasso or choil or whatever is not big enough for my finger. I'm going to totally nick myself. I would have liked them to just bring it in all the way in, or giving us like a full-on choil. This is not a functional choil for anyone without, like, I don't know, baby hands. I mean, maybe like a 5-year-old would be able to get in there and work with this thing, but an average adult male at least over here in the West, is not going to be able to use that finger choil, and it's just a wasted area of space. So I would have liked to have them just bring it in a little bit more and giving us more edge and not try to tease us with a choil or not. So just food for thought there. That is not a functional finger choil for any adult. One of the ultra cool aspects to the knife is the blade shape. I mean, the blade shape is super, super nice. Very, very cool. All belly, all the way. Love that. Overall blade length from handle to tip is going to be 3.5. Actual cutting edge is 3.375 inches overall with a high saber grind. Really like that aspect as well. Totally digging that. Very, very nice. This is going to be a thicker blade. Back here, it's going to be 0.15, so definitely over 1/8 of an inch thick, but it tapers down pretty quickly, which is nice, into that good precise tip with still enough strength, that nice clip that you're going to be able to pierce well, but it'll give you enough strength to, you know, that's not just going to snap on you, which is nice. Don't crank on it, obviously, but a really functional blade shape. The blade shape and blade profile are great. Nice stonewash finish there, satin finish. And then Sandvik 14C 28N, that's another great part of Ruike knives, is that they are all coming with that steel, which is a great mid-quality steel. Definitely upgrade over AUS 8 and over like 8CR and 420 high carbon. This is a good steel, rather rust resistant. You will have to work a little bit to put an edge back on it with this particular heat treat, and that's kind of where we come in. Even though it's a very high grind, it is a thick blade, and the relief edge was pretty short and wasn't super impressive out of the box. You're going to have to do a little bit of reprofiling to get a nice wicked edge to cut like the blade looks like it can. It couldn't cut like it looks like it could cut out of the box. I definitely had to do a little work, and even then it was still kind of binding up sometimes on me. It just wasn't quite as nice of a slicer as, say, its little brother, the full flat grind version of the P801. This guy just, with maybe it's it is thinner back here, full flat grind, a little bit of a better relief edge. This guy can slice a lot better than this guy can, and you're definitely gonna have to put a little work, a little elbow grease, I believe, to bring up the relief edge, at least on my model, to really get some good slicing out of the knife. So things to consider: great blade shape, great overall, you know, steel, but a little lacking in the relief edge and cutting capability without definitely putting some work into it. And that Sandvik steel, you're going to, you know, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'll reprofile the edge. No, you're going to have to reprofile for a little while to get what you want. So as we move along here, this is another great part with Ruike knives. Most of them come with ball bearing bushings, and this is no exception. It's got a really nice, good flipper there, no jimping on it, really nice stop bar, stop pin back there. I mean, it's super solid, very solid built knife. So if you like solid built knives, and I just have to put a little pressure, those ball bearings are going to engage, and boom, going to whip open. So very nice to see that. Very easy to then disengage. I do have a little bit of rock side to side, none up and down. So that happens with a lot of ball bearing bushing knives that are out there. There seems to be a little bit of rock, a little bit of play side to side, but the lockup is very sturdy left to right, and that's because they gave us a very sturdy, very good liner lock here. You can see that's engaging and hitting right there, nice where it should be on the back of the blade, nice and thick. Got some nice jimping on there, easy to disengage without it, you know, being overkill. Now they did mill out the liners in there, so that shows again attention to quality and detail, but still, you know, going to be a heavy knife there. And then when you close it up, great centering, no issues there. And I've been playing with this a ton, and so I mean the quality is absolutely there. Now there are thumb studs. Again, this is righty only, but you could with that cut in easily do that. So if you're not super into flippers, you could still use the thumb studs to deploy it very, very easily. And open and closing one-handed is no problem. Now, to a sticking point that at first I was like, oh, it shouldn't be a big deal, and kind of became a big deal. This design has a secondary locking mechanism that you can engage. That's what that little jimping on the side is. You slide it forward, and now you cannot, and it's just this little, hopefully you guys can see all this going on in here. This little tab in here keeps it from disengaging. Now I cannot disengage the liner lock. The liner lock, it moves a little bit, but it will not disengage, and so it's a secondary feature. So when I was looking at it on paper, you know, like, do I want to review this or not? that was something that I was like, well, it shouldn't be that big a deal, because I can choose. Well, it's not like an automatic engager. I hate ones that just automatically engage. Here's the issue. It's basically almost flush with the G10, just a hair is popping up. But what tends to happen is when I grab the knife and then I begin to do push cuts, my thumb moves ever so slightly, and it doesn't take a lot, and it will engage this more often than not. So, and I don't know that I engaged it. I don't realize that I engaged it. So, I whip open the blade, it flies open, I do a couple quick cuts, do a couple pressure cuts, whatever it is, and then I go to unlock it and I can't. And I go, oh man, the safety's on, and I slide it back and then can close it up. It's not a huge deal, but it happened like 80% of the time. When I use the knife, 80% of the time, I accidentally engaged the locking mechanism, the backup locking mechanism, and then I would go to close it and it doesn't close. And so that just became a nuisance to me that I don't think the knife needs. It has a great liner lock. It's super solid build. It doesn't really need this backup little safety feature. And if I were you and you buy this knife and you like everything else about it, I would put a little dab of super glue in there and glue it closed. You don't need it. There's no need for it. It's going to get, I think, on your nerves because you're going to be engaging it when you do a lot of harder cuts with it on a pretty regular basis, because the meat of your thumb just gets in there, and as you're cutting, you just accidentally engage it, and then you're like, oh, I engaged that. You go to it, yeah. It's unnecessary, and kind of puts a damper on the fun factor of it being ball bearing. You whip it open and you use it, whip it closed. I rarely did that because I accidentally engaged the safety. So that's a hang up for me, guys. And so that's going to kind of bring us to the price and conclusion here. So this guy is going to run you on average about $45 to $50. Blade HQ, Amazon links below. We really appreciate when you guys use those hyperlinks. It helps me continue to make content, get out here, and just do what we do here at the channel. It's a very simple way to help support us and help us continue to do what we do, as well as check out Knockaround Sunglass Company, as well as check out backcountry.com. Great stuff all around, and helps us, and you get great deals and great quality products, and it's a lot of fun. So appreciate that, guys. Now, Rake did send this over to me, and this is one I am not privy to any knife company that sends me something. They all know that I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be honest with you. Out of the several rakes that I've tested and reviewed here at the channel so far, this is my least favorite one because of some of the blade geometry issues, the goofy double safety that doesn't really need to be there, the ultra small choil, and just some other aspects to it that I'm just, it looks ultra cool and has all of the materials for like a hard, heavy duty, like hard use knife. But there's just enough that I'm like, if I'm going to go with a rake, I'm going to go with my classic, with the one that got me started into the biz of loving these rakes, is this P801. I did a review. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I'll try and annotate it in. A big heavy duty one that they have a beta lock that's really cool, secondary lock, but it doesn't accidentally engage. That one's awesome for heavy duty use. This one just, it's not finding a home in my like scale. And if you like that design, then there's other knives that are out there. There's Kershaw knives that have a very similar kind of Persian look to it in the Emerson line. Now they won't have as quality of steel. They're not going to have ball bearings and all that. But they have that look that this offers to you. So at the $50 price point, guys, I would just look at other rakes that are out there. Either their full-size large one, again, that I annotated in, that I did a review on, that I loved for big heavy-duty use, or one of their slightly smaller, slimmer ones like this guy. You're going to get great quality, great fit and finish. Just this particular design and some of the little goofy idiosyncrasies of this design just don't really connect with me. So guys, I hope that this video has been informative, giving you good data points to help you decide whether or not this rake P155-W is the right tool for you, or if there are other things on the market that would just be better suited, other rakes, other designs altogether, other manufacturers altogether. That's what we always want to do here, is give you guys those data points so you can make the wise choice when you're throwing down your hard-earned money. Check us out on Instagram, all the social media. We invite you to subscribe. If you're not a current subscriber, hit that subscription button. If you are a current subscriber, make sure to hit that bell icon next to the subscription button. That just makes sure that it's in the news feed for you, and you won't miss out on any of the videos that we throw up here week in, week out. Check out that other video popping up right now. And yeah, guys, Good time. Don't forget about the mailbag. Put hashtag mailbag. You might get one of your questions answered in an upcoming video on the Gideon's Tactical Show, which goes live every Saturday. It's very different from our reviews. We talk concepts, topics, answer the mailbag, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. So check us out there as well every Saturday, and we just thank you for being part of the GT family. As always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.